Hey, Chris.
Hey.
I'm Heather. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Heather.
Okay, so before we get started, I just want to let you know that everything you say in here is confidential unless you tell me that you're going to harm someone else or yourself, or if you say anything that indicates that a child is being abused.
Okay.
All right, before we get started as to why you're here, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions that I ask of all my clients. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what year is this?
2016.
Okay. What season of the year is it?
Fall.
All right. And what is the month and date?
September 17th.
And what day of the week is it?
Saturday.
What's the name of this place?
The counseling center.
Yes. And what floor are we on?
We're on the second floor.
What city and state are we in?
We're in Beaufort, Georgia.
And what county is this?
Gwinnett County.
Okay. I'm going to say 3 objects. After I say them, I want you to repeat them. They are apple, table, penny. Now you say them.
Apple, table, penny.
Remember what they are, because I'm going to ask you to recall these again in a few minutes, okay? This is a test to test your memory and your attention. So I would like for you to subtract 7 from 100, and then 7 from the answer you get, and keep going until I tell you to stop.
93. 86. 79. 72. 65.
All right. Okay, thank you. What are the 3 words I asked you to remember?
Apple, table, penny.
All right. What is this?
Pen.
And what is this?
Wrist.
Okay. Repeat the following sentence exactly as I say it. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Now I want to see how well you can follow instructions. I'm going to give you a piece of paper. Take it in your right hand, use both hands to fold it in half, and then put it on the floor. Okay. Okay. I'm going to show you a sentence, and I would like for you to read it silently to yourself. And then do what it says. Alright. And now I'm going to ask you to copy the design that's on this page. And you can use this. And now I'd like for you to write one complete sentence. All right, thank you. All right, so we're done with that part, okay? Now we can get into why you're here. So why don't you tell me just a little bit about yourself and why you came in today?
My name is Chris. I'm 21. I'm a senior here at the college. Just coming in to just talk about some stuff that I'm going through right now, and there's a particular route I want to go down, and I just want to see if that's the right route for me. So this was just recommended to me that I come in here and see you first before I make any rash decisions. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You're a senior in college?
Yeah. I go to college right down here. So yeah.
All right. So there's a particular route you want to take, and you're unsure of that route?
Yeah, I've just felt a particular way my whole life, and I just feel like it's time that I just do something about it. I just feel like it's time that, I just make myself into what I already am. So that's where I'm at, and my family doesn't really agree with it, but I mean, that's the only thing that's really holding me back right now.
Wow, that must be very frustrating to know where you want to go and your family not support you in that.
It is. I mean, they've supported me in almost everything, even though I know it's hard for them, but they're just on this route. I mean, they just don't think that they don't think that I should make such a drastic change of my body. They don't think that I should do anything that's permanent. But I know that this is who I am, so I don't know. I mean, that's really the only thing that's holding me back right now.
Right, you're 21 years old. You can make your own decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've been making those decisions my whole life, and they've never really stopped me from doing anything because they know this is who I am, My parents, they're split, but they're still such a big part of my life. My mom, she supports me, but she thinks because she had similar feelings and she grew out of it that I will too. But it's not how I feel. And I know that's not even me. That's not even me at all. So.
Your mom supports you to an extent.
Mhm. Yeah.
And your dad is not supportive.
Well, it's just hard. It's just harder for him. But he just thinks that it's just a phase, and that I shouldn't do anything permanent. But it's not a phase. It's not a phase. I've been the same person my entire life. Anybody that spends time with me would know that I'm the same person my entire life. He knows that. He's seen me my entire life, but he still just can't be okay with this part of it. So, I mean, that's the only thing that's got me hung up right now. That's the only reason I'm here, really, because I know that I need to make this decision, and I want to make this decision, but there's just people in my life that just can't get past it.
There's other people in your life who can't get past it either.
Well, my girlfriend, Lynn, she sees me for what I am. She knows what I am. She knows I'm a man. She knows that. But, I mean, she's the same way. She just can't see me doing anything so drastic. She's scared that in the future, there's things that I won't be able to do that she thinks that I should have a right to do. But that doesn't even cross my mind because it's not who I am. So.
This is a drastic change, but it's something that you've known your entire life.
Yeah.
This is who you are and this is what you want to do.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I know. I've known since, as long as I can remember. It's never been a question. It's never been any type of confusion. I've never been lost as to who I am. I know exactly who I am. It's other people in my life that are confused as to who I am. And I don't know why, because I've made it as clear as I can make it.
You've known this since you were a small child.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, for as long as I can remember, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is what I want. It was never a question. It was never a decision between one and the other. I know I'm a man. I've known that my entire life. And anybody that spends any time with me, anyone that talks to me, anyone that hangs out with me, anybody that knows me, it's not a question. It's obvious. But it's, my whole life, all through elementary school, middle school, high school, all of it. I mean, people just, they have problems with it, not me. They're the ones that are confused. They're the ones that can't get over it. It's not me. I know. But, you find people that accept you, and then you want to go do something to just be you even more, and all of a sudden they don't accept you anymore.
That must have been extremely hard as a child to deal with such rejection.
I mean, I had a lot of friends, and, I was really close to these 3 guys, and we were really close, and, they didn't even see me as anything. They didn't see me as male or female. They just saw me as a friend. And that's all I want, just a person. I don't want to be she, because I'm not she. I'm a he, and I know that. I've known that forever. But, I had these friends, and I was really close to them. We hung out, we went to clubs, we did a lot of academic things together. I was class president my freshman year. Like, I had a lot of friends, and those people accepted me. But then you go out into the world, and it's confusing again. What bathroom do I use? What locker room do I use? My entire life I'm asking these questions because I know what I am, but no one else does. So I can't include myself in what the guys are doing because I'm not allowed to. But I refuse to include myself in what the girls are doing because I'm not a girl. And I know that.
Right. Yeah. That would be hard. That would be very frustrating to know and not be able to do what a man would do because of society's gender structure or roles.
Exactly. You know, I mean, I played basketball with my dad and my brother my whole life. You know, from very young. I have a brother. He's a year younger than me. And we did everything together. And I wanted to play on his sports teams. I wanted to be on his basketball team.
Right.
And I couldn't be because they just wouldn't let me. And so I played on the girls' team for a while, but I didn't feel like that was even fair for me or for them. And maybe I would have just been average on the guys' team, but I would have much rather been average on the guys' team than I would to be excellent on the girls' team. Because that's where I belong. So, I mean, eventually I just quit. I quit all the sports because if I'm going to stand out, I don't want to stand out on the girls' team. Because then, you know, my picture's in the paper, and under it, it says women's basketball. Well, I'm not a woman. So why does it say that under my name? So I just stopped, you know. That was such a big part of my life, but it's all these classifications that I have to fit in that I don't fit in. I know what I am, but I'm not allowed to be who I am. So for once in my life, I just want to be who I am.
And you said that your girlfriend, Lynn, she accepts this decision that you've decided to go through with this physical change.
She does to an extent. You know, she sees me as a man. She sees our relationship as heterosexual because it is. You know, where I'm physically attracted to her, she's physically attracted to me, and she knows that this isn't gonna make her less physically attracted to me because she already sees me as a man, but she's worried that I'll regret not having the ability to have kids. And that's not even something that crosses my mind. It's not something that I even thought about because that's not me.
Right, you're a man.
Men don't have kids. It's not me. But she is stuck on the fact that I'm gonna regret it for that reason alone. That I won't be able to have children. Or that later in life I'm gonna regret not having those things. But I mean, I may not be able to have kids like a man born as a man may be able to, but that doesn't mean that I can't have kids. So I just feel like if I don't do this, it's going to hold me back for the rest of my life. Maybe it's not holding me back right now because I'm 21 years old and I look like 21-year-old men. But what happens when I'm 40 years old and I still look like a 21-year-old man? I can't date 20-year-olds my whole life. I don't want to date 20-year-old women my whole life. That's not what I want. I just feel like this is the only route I can take that will let me live the life that I want to live.
This is the only route you can take. Your girlfriend is supportive, except for the ability to have kids. She's afraid you'll regret that.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother is supportive, but not supportive of the surgery. And your father understands to an extent, but he considers this to be something you may grow out of.
Right. I just don't see how it's going to be something I'm going to regret. I just don't see how. I mean, at least the first steps of it. I mean, I just want to be who I am. And if that means that I have to lose part of me, then that's something that I'm willing to do. I'm willing to lose the ability to bear children because I know that the end game for me is so much bigger than what I'm at right now. I know that if I can do this, then I'll be able to start living the life that I want to live. You know, in high school, I used to go to these clubs with my friends, and it was the one place that I felt like nobody knew me. Nobody knew me as Christina, or nobody knew me as a girl that dressed like a guy. I could be whoever I wanted to be. Nobody could tell the difference. And I met these two sisters there. And, you know, we danced, we hung out, and we kind of built a little relationship. And they thought that I was a man. And they would call my house, and I'd answer the phone, I'd talk to them. And then one day, my mom answered the phone, and I wasn't home. And she said, "I'm sorry, she's not home right now." So they went off and told their friends about it, and they were, completely freaked out. Like, it changed who I was. Like, I wasn't the person that they've been getting to know the past couple months. And I'm the same person. That's what's so hard for me, is that when somebody finds out that I wasn't born a man, I'm a different person to them. And I don't think that's fair. You know, they got so mad that their friends came and, tried to fight me. Because they thought that I somehow lied to those sisters. Or I somehow was trying to be something that I'm not. But this is who I am. And people can't see that. And I don't understand why. So, if this is what I have to do for people to stop questioning that, then that's what I'm going to do. Because, you know, I'm very serious with Lynn right now, but if it doesn't work out, it's hard to find people that love me for me as a man and truly see me that way. I've had two girlfriends my entire life, and I don't see how that is going to continue. I don't.
Okay, so a guy came to your house to beat you up.
Yeah. They just went and told their friend that I deceived them, pretty much. And this guy thought that I deserved a lesson. And that's what he said, that I deserved a lesson. He came to my house, pushed me around a little bit, threw me down in the driveway, pretty much tried to fight me. And then my brother and my dad came out and sent him home. But they tried to do something about it, and I said no, I don't need help. So, nothing really came of it, but never heard from the girls again, and honestly stopped going to the clubs at that point. Just stopped, because, I'm not going to find anybody there. I've only had, 2 serious girlfriends in my entire life, so, I just have to find another way to do it.
So this first girlfriend, she was supportive of your decision to be a man and become a man.
Well, Jennifer, yes and no. At that point, I didn't really want to necessarily become a man, because I kind of figured I already was, in most regards. Maybe not physically, but all other parts. And I didn't really know that these options were available. But, we were really good friends in the beginning with the 3 guys that I was really good friends with. She just kind of joined our group. She moved to our school when I was a freshman. She had a boyfriend. She dated him for a while, and then he went off to college. So when he went off to college, we became really good friends. And after we became really good friends, my feelings really developed her. I was physically attracted to her. I really wanted a relationship with her, but I was scared to tell her about those feelings, because I was scared that she wouldn't even be my friend anymore. I was scared that I would scare her away. So one night we went off to the movies. I really wanted to put my arm around her. I really wanted to make some kind of gesture. Not disrespect her in any way, it's not how I was raised, but just kind of a romantic gesture to show her that my feelings were deeper than a friendship. But I was scared. I didn't do anything. And then after the movies, she told me that she wanted me to. So we went back to her house, and we just we hung out, we talked, we kissed, really developed a relationship from there. But we couldn't tell anyone. Her mom thought of me as a girl. It's the only reason I was allowed to stay at her house. But that's as far as it could go, because nobody at school could know. They'd known me my whole life. They know that I was born a female. So they couldn't get over that to accept this relationship. We tried to make it work, but then I went off to college. She stayed home for school, and her mom found a letter for me. It was a love letter. It was just telling her how much I loved her and how much I missed her. And her mom threatened to cut off all financial support of her if she continued to see me in that way. If Jennifer continued to see me in that way. Because she thought of me as a girl and not as a heterosexual relationship. So, I understand she couldn't have all of her support cut off from her family, so I didn't even let her make the decision. We just had to end things. We stayed friends, but that was the extent of our relationship. That was it. She saw me as a man. She tried to throughout our entire relationship. I'm not sure she was ever fully thought that I was a man, but she did the best that she could. But we're still friends. She's married now. She has a life. She has a family, but it's upsetting to me, because not that necessarily I wanted her to be the one that I would marry, but that could have been an option for me, and it's not. It's not an option for me the way I am right now, because people just can't see me that way. Families can't accept me, so I just feel like this is my only option.
How heartbreaking to be in love with someone and have it end simply because of someone else's judgment and bias and control over their own children.
Yeah, I know it has to be hard for parents and for people to accept it. I understand that, but it's just so obvious. Anybody that knows me knows who I am. It's not even a question. But they won't take the time to get to know me to really see who I am. It's not a question. Have a conversation with me. It's not a question of who I am. I know who I am. It's just the judgment is hard. And when I walk in a room, I have to make gestures to show that I'm a man. And I shouldn't have to do that. I should walk in a room and automatically be known as Chris and not whoever Christina is, because that's not who I am. It shouldn't have to be questioned. People shouldn't have to wonder, because I don't wonder, so they shouldn't have to either.
Earlier you mentioned how you were raised, saying that's not how I was raised. Can you tell me a little more about that?
I've just always watched my parents, and yeah, they're split now, but they were together most of my life, and I know how to treat a woman. I know how to, and I know how to be respectful. And honestly, I don't really understand how guys can go around being so promiscuous with girls. I don't understand how guys can go around seeing different girls at the same time, or how they can just treat them like they're nothing. That's not who I am. That's not who I could ever be. I believe that a woman deserves to be treated with respect and with dignity. Open the doors for her. Pull out her chair. That's how you should treat a woman, and that's how I do treat a woman. I would never treat anyone that way. And it's not how I was raised. That's not how my parents showed me that's how. And even if they weren't trying to show me that, that's what they were showing my brother. And that's what I paid attention to. I paid attention to the things that my dad told my brother. And that's how I learned. That's how I learned how you treat a woman. That's how I learned how to be a man. And I was included in a lot of the stuff that they did until I got older. And I was expected to be more feminine. You know, I started to develop just really hard as a man to develop into this body. But that's when I was expected to no longer be outside playing basketball with my dad and brother. And I didn't get the same talks that my brother got. And I didn't get taught the same things that he got taught. You know, he got treated completely differently than I did. I mean, they did their best, and I understand that, but I just wish that they could have seen earlier. I openly told them about it. How old was I? I guess I was about 15 or 16 when I openly talked to them about it.
Okay.
But they knew my entire life. I just never told them the extent. So even then, after I told them that, nothing really changed. I mean, they still treated me the same, but they're still calling me she, her. I don't even like the name Chris, because Chris can go both ways. I mean, it's just as easily a nickname for a girl as it is a name for a guy. So half my life I went by my nickname, Morty. And, I mean, I've had that since I was little, but at least that's more masculine. I mean, I don't know how to make it any more clear to them that this is who I am, you know. It's not a decision. It's not something that I'm confused about. I've never been confused about it. Even when I was, young, I knew. So, I learned from my brother. I learned from watching my dad. And I know how to treat a woman. And I know that I can do it right. And I know that I do it right. But I just don't feel like I have the same opportunities to do so. I mean, a lot of people say that the reason I do have so much respect for women is because I am one. And that's one of the most insulting things that somebody could say to me.
Of course.
Because I'm not. And I have respect for women because women deserve respect. And as a man, I know that. So for somebody to say that I have an ulterior motive or that I have another reason why I treat women the way I do, I mean, it's just ignorant. It shouldn't even be. Through all of this, none of this should even be happening. And I feel like I have the tools to change it, and I can't right now. So, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
This conversation you had with your parents when you were 16, where you went in depth on your sex, on your
Mm-hmm.
gender, how did that go?
Well, my mom, she said that she went through a tomboy phase. And that I would grow out of it, pretty much. In the beginning, that was her angle. That there was a time where she liked wearing boys' clothes too, but she grew out of it. But it's really taken her time to see that this isn't a phase. It's not the clothes that makes me a man. It's not the way I dress or the things I like that make me a man. It's who I am, and I know that. So that was hard. I mean, they didn't necessarily agree with it in the beginning, but they knew that they didn't want to lose me. They knew that they loved me and that I was their child. No matter if I was their daughter or their son, I was their child. So I knew that they would never turn their back on me. It was just a matter of them really accepting me for who I am and really seeing me that way, addressing me that way. and my dad, I think it was a little bit harder on him. I mean, I have 2 other sisters, so it's not like I was his only daughter, but he still saw me that way. And that's why I had to have this conversation now, because I couldn't deal with it any longer. But he still struggles with it. He loves me, and I know that, and he'll never turn his back on me, but they both, from the very beginning, have been against me doing anything to change my body. And that's hard. Everybody wants their parents' approval. Everybody wants their parents to be okay with who they are and what they're doing. But I don't know if I'll ever get that verbal okay from them. And I think that's the hardest thing about all of this. And they're on different pages now than they were, because they are split and they don't spend a lot of time together anymore, but I still don't know if either one of them will be okay with it. I mean, it's just part of it, I guess. It's just part of it.
Sounds like you really crave your parents' approval. You might be on the verge of getting that from at least your mother. And it also sounds like that you have a close relationship with your parents. It's been a good relationship growing up and even into this transition.
It has. Me and my dad bonded a lot earlier than me and my mom. Me and my dad really just, we got really close because we were always outside playing sports. We were always doing physical activity. We were always, and my younger brother, is only a year younger than me, so we were all really close. But it never seemed to take away from the connection I had with my mom. We would hang out and go eat, but we never did the girly things. Shopping, cooking, stuff like that. And I think she may have missed some of that with me. She probably wanted to do some of that stuff, but she never let it affect our relationship. We've always been really close. I noticed around the end of elementary school, middle school, I started to get excluded from my brother and my dad. They started to go out and do things without me, which they never did on purpose. And I understand that. But it also made my relationship with my mom even stronger. I spent time at home with her. I still did the same things, but she was the one that was home with me. So, yeah, I would say that I have a really strong relationship with both of them. I still see them both all the time. So, it's been really, I just don't know where I'd be without them. So many people's parents turn their back on them. Mine never did. So, I'm thankful for that. I am. And even if I don't have their approval 100%, I still know that they won't turn their back on me. And I feel like that's really important. So.
And your brother, he's supportive of this transition as well?
He just kind of ignores it. He just doesn't talk about it. He doesn't openly say that he disagrees with it, but he doesn't openly say that he's okay with it either. He's a man of few words, that's for sure. But he loves me, and it's hard for him to see me as anything different than his older sister. But I've been this way my entire life, so it's not a surprise to him, I don't think. But he's just kind of quiet about it. He doesn't call me he or she, I think is the best way to describe my brother. He doesn't introduce me as either. I'm just Chris, which is fine by me. So.
Well, that takes away the labeling.
And I'm okay with labeling, as long as you're labeling me as what I am, and not what you assume that I am. So, it's, I know what I am. And it's okay that he doesn't call me either, but at some point, he's gonna have to realize that this is what I am, and I am he.
So you mentioned that you have a brother. Do you have any other siblings?
Yeah, I have two younger sisters. One is she's in middle school. She's like seventh grade, and the other one is she's a freshman in high school, so they're a lot younger than me.
All right. And what's your relationship like with them?
It's good. It's a good relationship. We're not that close, but they, they have an easier time seeing me for what I am because they are so much younger. So they've seen me this way my entire life. They've seen me as a man my entire life because they're so much younger. So it's a lot easier for them. I mean, I'm sure that they've had questions. I'm sure that they've asked my mom specifically some questions, but they've never asked me anything. I mean, they've always kind of seen me as their older brother, which is nice. You know, it's nice to have people in my life that didn't have to see me go through everything I went through in elementary school and middle school. And the first memories that they even have of me is me like this, me as a man. So, because I've been this way for the past, my entire life, but I've really identified like this. I mean, the past at least 8 years, 8 to 10 years. So, I mean, that's almost their entire life. So that's easier. I think it's easier with them than it is with my brother because my brother grew up with me since he's only a year younger. But I mean, it's I know it's going to be harder for them in the future, especially when they get to high school. I don't want anybody to make fun of them, to pick on them, or to say anything to them about me. That scares me. I mean, that's why I want to be fully a man, so that it's not even a question. So people don't even have to know anything about it, and they can live their life completely normally. So
That makes sense. It sounds like you are a good role model for your sisters, and that's what you aspire and desire to be, is a role model for them.
I try to look out for them as much as I can. I try to show them who I am from the very beginning so that they don't have to question and they don't have to worry and there isn't a lot of confusion for them because I'm sure that is hard. But I think that the best thing that I can do for them is be sure of who I am and show other people that because I want them to be sure of who they are too. And it doesn't have to be in a gender role. It doesn't have to be, what they're identifying as or anything like that, but just sure of themselves, sure of their abilities, confidence in themselves. I want to have that same confidence because I want them to have that confidence too. And I mean, if I want to portray that to people, I have to be confident in myself and not constantly second guessing. But I feel like that's what I spend most of my time doing. So.
You mentioned earlier that your parents are separated.
Yeah, they are. They got divorced, I guess, towards the end of my high school. I guess I was about 17 or so. I think I was a junior. Um, we never really saw it coming. I mean, throughout my entire life, they've been really close, as far as I could tell, as far as all of us could tell. But you know, once they told us, all four of us were very surprised. Um, but I guess looking back now, I could see some idea that it was happening. I mean, they were always in their room talking quietly. I mean, they never fought out in public, but they kept it to themselves. I mean, and it was nice because, I mean, it gave me a fairly normal childhood, you know. As far as I could tell, I was seeing two parents that loved each other deeply and everything, but it was definitely hard finding out because I felt like there was no steady decline. Like I felt like it was like you jump off a cliff, like you know, like it's over, like it's just done, and there was nothing leading up to it. So that was, I mean, that was hard to adjust to that, but you know, all four of us, we live with my mom, and then we see my dad on weekends. We still spend a lot of time with them. The relationship, I mean, is still really close with both of them. Um, I wish they were on the same page a little bit more, but I mean, I guess that's understandable that they're not. But it's been it's been difficult, but I mean, I guess I can see how it was for the best for them. So it is what it is, I guess. But
Well, it sounds like they've tried everything they can to make this stable transition for you and your siblings.
they have they've really they've really shown us that it doesn't change our relationship with them just because their relationship changed. So I'm still really close. I mean, I see them both all the time. I mean, when I go home, I mean, I see them both almost every single time that I go home. So that's nice. And I mean, they're civil with each other and they can talk and everything like that. And they have to with four kids, I guess, and two younger ones. But um, I know they're doing their best. So that's all they can do, I guess.
I want to switch gears a little bit, and I would like to hear more about your daily routine.
Um, I mean, it's pretty basic, you know. I go to school here, but I live off campus by myself. I always have because I didn't want to live in the dorms for obvious reasons. I just didn't feel like I belonged there. Um, so I live by myself. Lynn stays with me a lot. She lives in the dorms, but she stays with me. I mean,
Okay.
most of the week, which is nice. I go to class. I don't have a job right now. I'm just a full time student, but I go to class, and the first little bit of class is always the most difficult. Meeting new professors and people in my class and stuff like that. I feel like I have to walk in and exaggerate being male even more than a man would have to. I feel like I have to really accentuate that part of me so that they know who I am and what I am as a man. And it's always hard. I mean, it's hard introducing myself to new people, um, anything like that. I mean, it's really difficult because the first impression is always the hardest for me. Um, I feel like I have to be so much more than everybody else does just to be myself. But yeah, I mean, I go to class, hang out with friends sometimes at night. Sometimes we go out, hang out. We still go to the club sometimes. But I obviously go with Lynn. She's my number one priority right now. But that's pretty much what I do. I spend time with my family, stuff like that. So I mean, I feel like it's pretty basic.
You said you go out with your friends. Those friends are primarily male.
Yes, they are. They always have been. You know, even in high school, the friends that I talked about, you know, they're always male. You know, I've had some friends that are girls, but it's hard for me to just stay friends because I feel like when I get close to them, it always turns into a physical attraction, which is difficult because they don't always feel the same way. But I just feel like I belong with guys more. I've been really lucky because I've had the ability to have friends that really accept me for who I am. Um, they they include me in their conversations, which I feel like is really big. You know, we talk about things that guys would talk about. We talk about sports. We talk about girls. We talk about normal things, and I feel like I'm lucky to have a group of friends that doesn't treat me differently than one of them because I'm not. I'm not different. Um, I am a man. I am, and I feel like I have to keep accentuating that, and that's hard that I have to constantly accentuate that in my life. But I don't think that it's common for somebody to have a group of friends that really treats them as good as my group of friends does. And I'm really grateful for that. I mean, they see me for who I am, and I feel like I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have that. I'm lucky to have that, and I'm lucky to have Lynn. Um, they may not accept every part of my life, but they accept the most important part. So it's really important to me.
You keep mentioning Lynn. Tell me more about your relationship with Lynn.
Well, it's good. I mean, almost all aspects of our relationship is the same as a male female relationship. She accepts me as being a man in almost all aspects of our relationship. I guess the only thing that holds us back is our intimate relationship. And I really feel like altering my body would really help with that because I feel like when we are intimate, I constantly have my guard up. I feel like I have to hide myself from her. I feel like I have to constantly just be someone different. You know, when we are intimate, I keep my clothes on. I feel like I almost feel like I'm not present with her, which I know that's not fair to her because I want her because she's my number one concern right now. And even if it wasn't Lynn, even if it was my future relationships, I know that intimacy is a very important part of that. So, I mean, constantly having to wonder, constantly having to guess if I'm there fully. I mean, I guess this is kind of hard for me to describe, but I I want to have every aspect of a male female relationship, and you know when we are intimate, I don't want her to touch me. I don't want her to know or to feel my body as a female because I'm not a female. And I mean, that makes it very difficult because I know it bothers her. She's hinted at it a couple times that it bothers her. And she just wants me to let my guard down. Not necessarily to change my body, but to let my guard down. And that's very hard for me because it's not a switch. I mean, I can't just turn it off. I can't just let it all go. Just let my guard down. Because when we are intimate, there's constant questions in my mind. I can't be present with her because I'm always in my mind asking, is this what a man would do? Can she feel that? Does she know that I'm a man? Am I doing everything that a man would do? I mean, it's hard, and she deserves more, and I know that. And in almost every aspect of our relationship, I still question those things, but I'm capable of questioning those things and being present at the same time. And I feel like this is one way that I'm not. And I don't want it to affect our relationship because it's not fair to her and it's not fair to me that I have to miss out on that part of our relationship because I was born in a different body than I belong in. And that, I mean, it does. It makes it really hard. And it's the same things that I'm going to have to worry about my entire life. Even if it's not Lynn, it's someone after Lynn. It's the next person. It's constant, and I mean, it's not only in my relationships, but it's walking down the street. When I walk down the street, I have to look around and wonder, what is that person thinking? What is this person thinking? Can they tell that I'm in a female body? Do they think that I'm a man? Am I walking like a man? Am I dressing like a man today? And it's almost like I'm outside my body. looking down and saying, what are you doing? You can't do that. You have to do this. This person's looking at you. This person thinks that you're crazy. This person thinks that you're female. And yes, I still allow myself to go out and interact with people and be social, but that's still always holding me back.
Yeah.
And no, there isn't a switch to turn it off, but I feel like going down this route and making myself into who I already feel like I am is gonna help me turn that off.
So this guard you have up with Lynn affects your sexual relationship with her,
Mm-hmm.
and you wish that it didn't.
Yeah, I really do. I really do. I mean, it's not something that's easy to talk about, and a lot of people don't talk about it, but it's important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's important to our relationship, and I feel like it's even more important because I feel like I'm overcompensating, or I have to overcompensate. And I mean, I don't feel like that's right, that I should have to do that. And it's not even that she expects it of me, but I expect it of myself. So I'm constantly watching other guys, just in their interactions with women. I'm constantly watching and looking for anything that I can do to prove that I'm a man. And I shouldn't have to prove that, whether that be in the intimacy of my relationship or in my daily life. I just don't understand. I don't know. It's just, I just don't feel like I should have to prove that.
Sounds like there's a lot of pressure that you've placed on yourself to make sure other people can see who you are and know who you are.
Yeah. I mean, there definitely is. I mean, there is with my professors at school. I mean, and what happens after school? What happens when I get my degree and I'm out looking for a job? What happens then? I mean, what happens when I go out for an interview and I meet with the interviewer and I can't introduce myself. Hey, I'm Chris. I'm a man. So I have to find ways every single day to show them that I'm a man the first time that I meet them, without having an intimate conversation with them, without.
So, putting on a show or exaggerating these gestures, that's incredibly difficult, and that's a big part of what takes place in your daily interactions, and including school.
It is, and I mean, it's hard because it's like, I know that I shouldn't have to be doing these things, but I can't stop myself from doing them because it's important to me that people see me as a man. And that's, it's honestly, it's vital. Like, it's vital that people see me as a man. And, I often, sit a certain way or dress a certain way. And, even when I'm on the phone, when I answer the phone, like, I feel like I have to lower my voice. Like, I feel like I have to sound more like a man automatically. Like, because then I don't even get a chance to dress correctly or use my gestures to show that I'm a man, but just from my voice. Like, that's just things that people don't even think about. Like, people don't even think about the fact that somebody knows if you're male or female by the way you answer the phone, or the way you introduce yourself, the way you shake someone's hand. And that is something that I have to think about every single day. I have to think about every single situation that I'm in. I have to think about what kind of bathrooms are going to be where I'm going. I have to think about what kind of locker rooms that I'm going to be in. Like, that's things that I have to think about every single day. And making sure that I cover up the parts of my body that I need to cover up, and making sure that, I'm wearing clothes that are masculine, and making sure that I constantly look masculine, it becomes such a big part of my life that it becomes something that I'm constantly thinking about. And, you know, I would love to just have a release from that. I would love to just be able to just let loose for even a short period of time, but I mean, it's difficult. I mean, it's hard to let it all go.
And letting loose, that's important to you.
I mean, it is. I mean, I've found ways to let loose for maybe a couple hours here and there, but I've never, it's never permanent. I mean, it's always short-lived, so.
But in these moments, you feel like you have the freedom to be who you really are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I have to put on a front. And you know, who I am and who I am without my front is still a man. But I don't have to exaggerate my gestures. I don't have to do anything like that, but that's when I go out and party with my friends. Or, you know, anything like that, like, that's the only thing that I feel like gives me the freedom. But it never lasts long. I'm always brought right back. Somebody says something, I'm brought right back. And that guard goes right back up. And I feel like that's one of the most important reasons that I'm here is because I just want to let it down. I mean, I just want to just let go of my guard. And not for an hour here or 2 hours there, but permanently. I don't want to live like this anymore.
How lonely it must be to be the only one of your friends experiencing this.
Well, for the longest time, I felt like I was. You know, I didn't know that this is something that anybody else even dealt with. I didn't know that there was another person on this planet that felt like they were born in the wrong body. But recently, I found out that there are more people. I didn't know that it was a thing. Like, I really didn't know that there was other people out there that struggled with this. But, you know, come to find out that there are other people that struggle. And there are people that have taken the chances to go out and do something about it. I didn't even know there was things that could be done until about a year ago. And knowing that there's that option now, I don't think I'd forgive myself if I didn't. I think that I would constantly be regretting not doing something about it. And it is a relief to know that there's more people out there. To know that this isn't something that I have to deal with on my own. And, I mean, I've never met anybody personally, you know, I've never met anybody in my life that even was remotely like me, but I'd like to. Like, I think that, I don't know, it just, I have doubts about doing something about it, but I feel like those doubts only come from other people not being okay with it and not from myself. And I'm trying to figure out how to get over that part of it so that I can do this for myself.
You feel like meeting other people who are going through the same thing that you're going through might help you have the confidence to make that change?
I do. I mean, to know that somebody else has gone through it and that I just want to know how it changed their life. Because I need a change in my life. Because I can't keep dealing with the stress and the anxiety and the worry. I can't keep going with this guard for the rest of my life, and I know that. I guess I just want to see how it can make a difference. How it can change. Because right now I feel stuck. You know, I don't want to be 40 years old and look like a 20-year-old little boy or little girl, you know. I want to have those same things that a grown man has in order to live my life. You know, I want a wife, I want a family, I want a career. Those are things that everybody wants, and it's not different for me. I just want it as a man. and I just want to know that somebody else did, or somebody else is doing that, to know that it's something that I can do.
You see your life changing. If you were to make this change for the better, you can see how that would give you the freedom to be who you are.
And that's all I want, is I just want freedom. I want freedom from this cage that I feel like I'm living in. I feel like there's like a part of me that is trying so hard to come out, but it can't because I'm just enclosed in this body that's not mine. And I just don't feel like that it's fair that I should have to do that just because I was born in someone else's body.
It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the people that love you and care about you.
That's truly the hardest part. And I know it's confusing for other people. I know it's hard for them, but I can't change it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I guess my mom really wanted me to come talk because she wants me to figure out if this is something that either I have to make a physical change or if it's just something inside of me that needs to change. But I don't feel like that's really a question. I feel like I've been this way from the time that I was born. I feel like I have been a man inside the entire time. And so I can't just, that never changed. That's been the same the whole time. I can't change that to be somebody else without becoming a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
I would be faking that. That wouldn't be me. I know who I am, and that wouldn't be me. I feel like my body isn't me, not who I am, because I'm confident in that, and I know what that is. And I don't feel like something made me into this. This is who I've been the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, I don't feel like there's anything that was like, I used to like dresses and I used to be feminine, and then now I gradually came into a man. This is who I've been from the beginning. And I feel like that's the hardest part for people to understand, is I just want my body to portray who I am. I feel like that is so normal for somebody to want.
Mm.
But most people don't have to do anything about it. And I do. It's stressful. I feel like it's causing me to have to deal with so much more. It's a constant stressor and anxiety, and I feel like I could just, I don't know, like I don't want to go out sometimes. Like I just want to stay in my apartment by myself, because going out, there's always a chance of not being accepted. And I feel like I have to fight it to go out and be social. And I am social. I'm a social person. And I like having my friends and my girlfriend and everything. And I love that aspect of my life. But I have to fight to walk out the door every day, because there's always something pulling me back saying, you can't be who you are, so why? Why even be out there with the constant judgment and the constant confusion from other people?
This confusion from other people is probably very difficult to handle, but it sounds like your mom, she is supportive in your decision, and in your desire. She just wants to be sure that you're making the right decision because she cares about you.
She definitely does. There's no doubt about it. Everybody in my life, that's close to me, my family, my friends, my girlfriend, I know they just want me to make the best decision, but I feel like they have so much more hesitation about it than I do. And that's what's giving me my hesitation. And that's what's making it so hard every day, is because I feel like I'm fighting between this person that I know that I am and my expectations from my family and from my friends. And I feel like that's what's really causing this anxiety that I have about it. I mean, I know what I am, that's no question to me, but what's really causing, I guess, like the distress is that my family is pulling back on that. They love me, they support me, they see me as a man, but this is where they've really drawn a line. And I want to show them that this is the option for me. This is the only option for me, because there's nothing else that I can do to be who I am.
Well, we've come to the end of our allotted time for this session. I think we've covered a lot, but there's still a lot more for me to learn about you in order to proceed with treatment. The way this works is we'll do this every other week, and you'll continue to come back. And if you have any questions for me, you can ask. And it was good to meet you, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.